Hey, it's Hump Day, everybody. Welcome to the MMA podcast. Actually, the HammerFist podcast here at MMA Fight Pass. A lot to cover today, man. I want to introduce my new co-host, Ms. Bailey Silveira. I know her as Womack. I've known her for a long time, man. Actually, my daughter and her were competitors against each other back in the day. And kid's been around for a long time in one of the legendary land spots here in the Valley. The Valley Fight Club.
There you go.
Yes, I remember when they opened the grand opening of that deal, and it was right around the time Tough graduated its first class out there, and Dwayne had all those kids come out there, and you had the grand opening as well as all the local talent, was out there too. So it was definitely good times to see it still there and open up doors to a lot of people that have walked through it. Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man.
It's super fun and exciting, and it's family thing, and that's the best part about it, is that it's family owned and operated, and I get to spend time with the people that matter most.
Yeah.
And then those that are on the fight team become like family. And two of them were in my wedding. They were my bridesmaids.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that's just how it goes.
Awesome.
That's how we roll, so.
Hey, that's it, man. That's it. This past weekend we had a couple of big deals going on. Fight to Win obviously was in Fresno. Big turnout. The guys out here in Reedley, the Valley Fight Series, touched their caged again, and also another successful show. Shout out to them. Continue doing what you do. And the matters at hand, we got the project here, which I still call him I can't because I've known him when he was the project. He still is to me.
Bailey's family created the project.
Yeah.
We were there from day one. We were there. From writer to fighter. I remember that.
Anyways, we're going to big news. He's going to talk about some things. We also have some coaches from competitors and stuff that are going to be on that show. A lot to cover. Stick around. Grab something how do they say? Something hot to eat and cold to drink. And we're going to give it to the project right here. Jeremy.
Yeah. I guess first and foremost, everybody kind of heard the news about Joey. I guess I should start off by talking about that. Joey Perez is one of the co-founders of 559Fights. Most people know him just as the ring announcer. He's kind of the voice of the show. He wears a nice suit. You know what I mean? Looks pretty at the fights. He's kind of been one of the voices of the Valley for a really long time. Ever since he was probably a freshman, sophomore in high school. I think I met him his junior year in high school, announcing basketball games at Hanford West. I developed kind of a relationship with him at that time, and he went on. He did the J Live Entertainment. He did concerts and talent shows, and worked at Tachi Palace in the entertainment and marketing department for a long time. We worked together there, and then we kind of split off and we created 559Fights. Last week he was having some flu-like symptoms over the weekend, and he got rushed to the emergency room and then discovered that he had some cancer. He had a tumor removed last week. And he's undergoing chemotherapy currently. His spirits are good. I talking to him daily. He's still working and stuff. He wanted me to make sure that he was still working and keeping his mind busy. You know what I mean? And with that being said, we kind of had to push the fights back a week. It's kind of tough doing. We're a small crew, and Antoine and I and Mike kind of inherited a lot of what Joey was doing. And just kind of for the sake of wanting to make sure that the show went off in a proper way, we kind of were able to push the show back to the 25th of May, give us an extra week to kind of prepare and get things right. For the most part, the card has pretty much stayed the same. I immediately reached out to all the coaches, fighters, managers, let them know the situation, let them know we had planned on moving the show. It wasn't a text message thing, it wasn't an email type situation. I wanted these guys to kind of understand what the gravity of the situation, hear it in my voice, and just really kind of talk about, I understood it being Memorial Weekend if some people weren't going to be available to compete, but at this juncture we kind of had to do what we had to do. For the most part, everyone pretty much stayed on the card. Maritza Sanchez was going to be in our co-main event. Her coaching staff wasn't able to make it for that date, so we are pushing Maritza's fight, a fight for Maritza, to the June 29th card. So she'll be one of the headliners on the June 29th card. She'll be here to talk here shortly. She's gonna fight Megan Tamadong, who's fought for us a couple times. It'll be a good fight. Also on that card, June 29th, another girl fight, which will be another headlining fight for us. We'll have 2 girl fights, title fights that night. Kat Sorzano will be back in action to defend her title. But on the May 25th card, I mean, we're looking good. I mean, the big buzz right now, obviously, is Enoch and Vince. Everyone's really excited about that fight. Probably 2 of the better kids in California at 145 right now. I'd put them up against anybody in the state if someone wanted to do promotion versus promotion type situation, and be pretty confident with either guy as much. I'd actually put either guy at 45 or 55, to be honest. I'd probably try to double up and get both of them in. But they're both great guys. You know what I mean? And hard workers. So it's an awesome fight for us to have. You know what I mean? A lot of times doing amateur fights, you don't always get to do a whole lot of matchmaking. No. You know what I mean? A lot of it is patchwork, piecing things together. You got a lot of different people wanting different things, so you can't always, as a matchmaker, do what you want. Whereas in the professional level, it's a little easier because money's involved. You know what I mean? To kind of get what you need. So to have a fight like that on one of these cards is pretty awesome, man. And I encourage everyone to come out, check out the fight. So it should be a great card. I think we have 12 fights right now in 3 grappling matches. I mean, we sold out that building the last 2 times that we've went there. Other than the dressing room situation, I think everyone pretty much loves that venue. I don't know if you've been there, Chris, but I mean, everyone seems pretty fired up about that spot. They like it a lot. So it's awesome to be in downtown Fresno too. You know what I mean? Another place where a lot of historic things have happened and things like that. So we're pretty excited, man. I mean, you know how it goes. We're excited, and as far as I know, Joey has refused to let me book someone else to ring announce as of yet. So to me, it sounds like my man's just trying to be there. Because I keep saying, man, can I book another ring announcer? And he's like, no. So I'm like, all right, Joey, you know what I mean? And he's like, I don't care if I have to sit ringside and not stand up. Like, I said, okay, man, we'll see how you're feeling. I think his last day of chemo might be tomorrow, and then he gets like a 12-day break.
Let your body recoup.
Let his body recoup. So, I mean, Joey's a tough guy, man, and I've been around him for a long time. He's a good friend of mine. We battle a lot, you know what I mean?
You guys are like brothers.
Yeah.
And actually talking about the Joey situation, from experience myself, 4 years ago I went through a life-changing experience. Never thought that I would be in that situation. And all your finances, your relationship, everything, the bearing on you continues. And the biggest thing is, how am I going to get this issue? So I can understand where it comes from, the impact, and the day-to-day, your life changed,
right?
With no control. So with that being said, I know the biggest impact I took for the first 6 months, but I was a lucky person that had savings. I was a lucky person that had a reserve. And the money I went to would be 6 years of someone's wages in 6 months. And if I didn't have that, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't, it could beyond change your life. Where we see tents out here,
Yeah.
So I know you started a GoFund.
Yeah, and it's something he didn't even add. He didn't say, "Hey, Jeremy, start this for me," or "I'm hurting." Or it was just like that, like you said, he's kind of like my brother. Yeah. And it was like I just spoke to his mom, and I said, "Hey, I want to do this for him. I know that our community will rally around him and help where they can. You know what I mean?" And I mean, he's not working. You know what I mean? And he's a self-employed guy. You know what I mean? He's a hustler, and we've been working really hard. And I know he's gonna need the cash. You know what I'm saying, for his bills and stuff. He's got a daughter and a wife, and so yeah, there's a GoFundMe out there. If you have the means, definitely go ahead. I'm not trying to force people to donate or anything like that, but if you have the means, go ahead and donate it. If not, just shoot it a share. You know what I mean?
Just shoot a share. Tell a friend.
One of your friends is gonna be able to have the means and shoot them $5, $10, whatever it is. Like I said in my thing, I have 5,000 friends on there. If everyone shot $1, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
$1, then I'd have the gold medal. It would be no issue. So yeah, I mean, and whoever can help, that's great. With that, and also we're gonna be doing some raffles and stuff like that at the event forum, and some other things that I'm sure will come up and we'll do. So, but Joey's in decent spirits. Better than I thought he would be. He was cracking jokes and laughing with me, and made me promise that I would not stop him from working. So.
And that's very much like Joey. I mean,
yeah.
I remember him when he first came into my gym in Hanford as a Krav guy, and I remember he was real natural, and my dad said, "Hey Joey, why don't you fight?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." And my dad said, "I know why. You're too pretty to fight." And he's always had that tenacity about him, and he's a fighter. He's a tough guy, and we're already seeing the community starting to rally behind him. I mean, I know my Facebook feed was just flooded with that GoFundMe, and I think the community is going to rally behind him in that regard. And that was really an awesome, amazing thing for you to do for him to get that going. Because like you said, he's not going to ask. That's not how he is.
And he would do it for all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, he would.
He would.
He's always out there to help somebody. I mean, you can look through his.
He probably would do a lot better job of it than I'm doing, to be honest. He would probably already raise 5,000 for me. I'm trying hard, Joey. I'll get it for you, buddy.
Take whatever they bring you, Joey. Keep the faith, man. Safe and solid, healthy recovery. Definitely, we need you in that cage announcing. I know there's someone on deck right now, and I know Jeremy's phone's probably that wants that position. I'm not going to mention any names.
There's been a few. There's been a few people.
But no, we need you. We need you, Joey. All right. With that being said, hey, we got Cody Sons here and his counterpart. You got a fighter coming up, big opportunity coming up for Vince.
Yeah, unfortunately, Vince had some schooling that he had to take care of tonight, so he couldn't make it. But we're excited for this fight. Vince is focused more than he's ever has been, and he's working harder than we've ever seen him work.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he's really, really excited for this fight. The last couple fights that he's had, we were expecting more out of it, but they just weren't really on Vince's caliber,
No, it was pretty. That was the first time I seen him fight this last time.
Yeah,
I
think Enoch and Vince is like Jeremy said, man. I think they're the two best in caliber.
And I'm sure and later on, everything goes good and they continue in their career as pros. I'm sure they'll meet maybe a few more times.
Probably meet again.
Yeah, but for this one to kick off, that's something definitely that people are going to want to watch. Man, it's going to be something well worth the price.
Sure.
It's
of admission. Possibly it could be the fight of the year.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. It's going to be up there.
It's going to be something because I never seen somebody work so hard for something in my life. Like it's his vision for this title is amazing. He calls me all the time. Let's go train. Help me. Come over. Let's do this. Let's get some rounds.
An hour after practice, he'll be like, "Hey, you want to run some mitts?"
Yeah.
Like, man, we just ate food, man. Like, give it a break, dude. And he's like, "Well, I think I can learn this, and what could I be doing better?" At any given time, he'll blow me and Trey up. And hey, what can I do to improve this? What can I do to improve that?
Have you seen his opponent fight?
Yeah, a few times.
What do you think are some of the keys that needs to happen to help Vince be successful in that night?
Well, I don't want to give it all away.
No, but some ideas, because everybody changes.
Well, one thing that we've been working on, we got to match his pace, and that guy Enoch, he doesn't let up.
So cardio.
He puts out a high pace, a high volume. I don't think he's finished anybody. I think all three of his wins are by decision, but all three of those decisions he's dominated. It wasn't like a split decision. It wasn't close. I mean, he's, you know, so we've embraced the grind, and you know, we've been grinding him at practice.
Grinding. We've been, you know, doing what. Of course, it's going to be two high-level guys in there, so we expect it to be a show. We expect it to go on. We expect it to be a show of heart, because both guys have a lot of talent. You know, it's going to come down to who really, really wants it the most. You know?
Both are extremely high-level wrestlers, so
I think that's part of the reason why everyone is so excited about this fight. You've got two elite-level wrestlers that have, you know, decent enough striking to get it to where they're comfortable, where they want to be, and their pace, both of them, is unmatched. It's going to be one of those fights where every fan is standing up, and they're going to be excited. I mean, I know I'm excited for it, and I know Enoch he's good friends with some of my fighters, and through some of his coaches, and we've worked with him in the past, and man, like they were talking about that pace, he is a true grinder, and I know he's excited for this fight, and I'm excited for this.
I think everybody's really excited. This is one, like Jeremy said, this is one you don't see much
as an amateur.
You know, unless you're going for a state championship or something like that.
I mean, even then,
at that level,
I've seen,
and sometimes you don't even get that. You know?
Yeah, I've seen like a lot of I'm saying mismatched state titles against a guy who's, you know, 3-4 against a guy who's 10-1 as an amateur. So I mean, I think they're both 3-0, so someone 0 has to go. You know,
those are always the best fights.
Yeah, I mean, they both, you know, they have a lot. They both have bright futures, you know, but
for sure.
we're gonna see who's the better man that night, I guess.
So. Is there any particular? Well, God, I can't even answer that question. I was gonna say move that you guys special at, but I know Enoch's probably watching.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
A lot of people know us, you know. If anybody knows who Vince is training with, he pretty much knows what we do, at least as coaches. And we like to bang, you know. We like to stand and bang. We like to make it. We're one of the last few of the old school styles, you know, with that old school heart. Like, we pride ourselves on heart, grinding and heart. Not very many styles or coaching or fighters are like that anymore. A lot of people are trying to play things safe now, you know, but
not even the safe aspect. They just don't like to put in the work. I mean, we've had plenty of people come, oh, can we cross train with you guys? And then 10 minutes into our warm-ups, they're packing their shit and they're going home.
We're too tired.
You know, they were too tired.
Are you guys specifically just staying there, or are you guys going and get cross-trained in? Or
we also train at Flawless Victory and Piranha Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Albert and Antoine are big helps to us, you know. And shout out to Albert. I heard he won at Fight to Win. So good job. Congrats. And Antoine helps us a lot. He, you know, sometimes when I have a mouth on me, so sometimes when I'm getting a little unlevel-headed, you know, he'll be like, hey, you need to calm your shit a little bit, you know. And because I mean, I've never been one to let someone, you know, like, oh, you know, Cody and Trey, you guys are under. Well, I just turned 25. You guys are under 25. Why you guys have a fight team? You guys haven't even had enough experience. Well, we're 4-0 against your team, so I don't think you can really say that. But you know, like, it's stuff like that. Like I say stuff, and I'm not hesitant. I'll tag the person in it. You know, I'll say whatever. Antoine not only is one of my, you know, my MMA coaches, but he's also kind of like a life coach. He'll tell you, you know, hey, Cody, you're kind of getting out of hand right
That's
now.
a good guy to have.
Yeah.
A lot of experience.
And don't get me wrong, he'll have my back, but he'll be like, hey, dude, you're wrong. You know?
That's always
and that's
good
good.
to have.
It is, definitely. Can I ask you a question? How in the hell do you guys get on that promotion every time that they have it? It seems like they have a fight every week. Up north or down south. I mean,
well, basically, I've fought there. They love the way I fight. They love the way Trey fought. Trey fought a guy that has been in Bellator like 7 times. You know,
they let nobody down here that has experience get on that damn card. I've tried, man.
Yeah,
I've tried.
But like I said, they just like the way we fight down there. It's just like Eagle Mountain. You know, they like striking. It's a bunch of crazy Indian guys that like, you know, an all-out slugfest, and that happens to be what we're good at.
Yeah, I lick blood and scream at the crowd. They love that.
Trey
shit,
wipes
man.
blood off his face and throws it down. I'm like, hey,
They love
can you
that
sit on the stool, please? And he goes, no, I want to fight more. I'm like, we got 45 seconds and you're back in there, all right? And they just like, they just like the way that we bring it, We also, we bring a crowd,
Yeah, that's
obviously
good. That
with the gladiator type shows, the King of the Kid, they're all tickets. So,
Yeah.
we're bringing in, quite a few ticket sales, they like to have us on their card,
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Is that primarily just pro, or do they have?
They do pro and Ams as well,
okay.
but I mean,
And this is which promotion?
California Cage War is down in
Okay, yes.
yeah, down south. So it's just like Gladiator Challenge, King of the Cage. It's like one of those promotions.
One of the more
but-
old school promotions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like
Which is-
they're like almost every month or something. It seems like.
Yeah, like every other month, or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
almost as much as Jeremy.
I don't know. That's pretty often though.
I don't know. I looked at my last fight on 559Fights, and it was on number 22, and he's like on like 80 now. So,
I remember number one.
yeah, I know. But
I remember number one.
Yeah,
I remember back
fought
in that
on-
time.
My first one was on number 11 in Bakersfield at number 11 or 12 or something like that, and we've had a lot.
It was
And
probably
what
110 degrees.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It's hot.
it was so hot. And then I remember you switched the venue to somewhere that had AC, and it was like a little bit better. But
That wasn't my fault. It's Joe's
but
fault.
at least you had AC, and
Yeah.
I mean, that other venue was hot and falling apart, and we upgraded at the last second. But I was gonna also give kudos to Jeremy, because like all these other promotions that we take our team to, like none of them like evolve. It's the same shit.
Stagnant.
45 minutes late, an hour late. The doctor's not there. The fighters, are doing whatever, and Jeremy runs a pretty legit. It's like every show he's getting better, and it's not this.
It's got that pro show.
Yeah,
Well, they're working.
Yeah,
They do it. They put the time in.
And yeah, and that's why I like having guys like fight for them on every card. I'll have a guy fight if I could.
Yeah.
I just like the way it's ran. He doesn't really bullshit a lot. So we
That's
like
important
that.
in the
we
fight
like that.
game. You want to have a good matchmaker who's honest and is going to say, hey, this is what I have. I've got this guy. He's blah 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 1-4, whatever it might be, and you want them to be honest with you and say, you know what, if you put in for a card, like it's not going to be a good fight for your team, or I have a better plan for you, and that's always important.
Yeah,
because
that too.
the matchmaking, people don't realize what goes into it.
Right.
They think, oh, you got Joe Smith and John Jackson, and oh, they're both the same records, they're going to fight. There's so much more that goes into that, and unfortunately, not every fighter and not every team is honest about their guy or their gal and what they're bringing to the table, and it makes his job a whole heck of a lot harder.
Yeah.
Right,
Try to
like-
decipher that.
Like saying, like if someone comes to you and they're like, oh, my amateur record was like 7-0, 8-0. Okay, yeah, but what organization were you fighting
Right.
for? It's like, oh, my fights are 559. Okay, now people are really looking at you, because the matchmaking here, it's A1. It's the best you can get. 'Cause
It's also a lot more competitive.
Oh, dude. And
Well, that's
the
what you
competition
want.
is
That's
crazy.
what you want.
Well,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
what I'm saying, like
Exactly.
I'm not gonna.
Especially trying to become a professional. You're an amateur and you want to be a professional. You want to fight the best guys you can, so that way you can figure out how good you are. Because when
Yeah.
you go pro, there's no easy. It's a Shark Tank.
Yeah. And
Thank you for the words. I really appreciate it. Especially I came under some pretty heavy criticism last week on this show.
just give him my
From
number,
some,
bro. I'll handle it for you.
from someone. And it's okay, man. I tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh man, so many a lot of people have beef with you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've done 72 shows, man." There's a lot of room for error in 72 shows. You know what I mean? A lot of there's no way that I could that I can make everyone happy with every move that I make. You know what I mean? It's impossible. But to say I'm not a fighter's first organization, some of the things that this person was saying without ever working with me, for one, ever interacting with me, for two, ever returning a text message to me, for three, I just think it's a little crazy. For someone like that to come on a podcast and say I do sneaky and underhanded stuff, or I'm not good for the sport and I'm trying to monopolize the sport. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I've been doing the same thing. I put out a schedule at the beginning of the year. Everyone that's ever worked with me knows. I put it out in probably early December, November for the entire year. So it's not like I've ever thrown a show to intentionally hurt anyone's feelings. They're always there a year in advance. You know what I mean? So you can go on the calendar on Camel's website and look and say, oh, these are when all the dates are that Jeremy's throwing shows. I've never intentionally done any of that. To the contrary, I've had people call me and say, hey, you're doing a show on this date. I'd like to do a show on this date. Is there any way we can make some adjustments and moves? And I've actually moved dates before. The difference I think is that a lot of what I do for people, I don't publicize it.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
I don't, when people ask me for a favor, I don't take a picture and post it on Facebook that I'm doing this for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I do over $15,000 a year in ticket giveaways for VetTix. Yeah. I've been doing it since VetTix has been an organization that I knew about. $15,000 a year. I probably do over $10,000 a year in fighter medical benefits. So fighters call me and say, hey, I can't afford this medical or that medical. I have money set aside. I help people where I can with their medicals and whatnot. Everything that I could possibly do for fighters, I've done. I've sent boxes of gear to gyms. I've paid for paint for someone's gym. I've sent coats and toys to people's gym when they were doing toys. I don't go show up in a picture and publicize that I'm doing those things. So I guess if that doesn't make me a fighter first organization, I'm okay not doing it because I don't need publicity doing those types of things. I do them out of the kindness of my heart. Yeah. I do them because 559 Fights and the fighters and people that have fought for us have afforded me to be able to do those things. But I'm not there posing in pictures and doing all that. I genuinely care about these guys. I care about their health. I care about the things like that. And there's plenty of teams that for whatever reason don't put guys on my card, and I don't take it to heart. You know what I mean? I don't speak bad about those gyms or those people. You know what I mean? I've had fighters from their teams message me, begging me to put them on cards, and I just say, hey, you know what I mean? I would love to have you fight for my card, but you need to go through your coach. You know what I mean? Out of respect for your coach. If your coach, my coach doesn't like you. Well, I'm sorry that your coach doesn't like me. You know what I mean? Or your coach has a personal vendetta against me, or whatever the case may be. Maybe I apologize for that, but I assure you that I message your coach every show, and I ask them, hey, I know you haven't texted, I know we haven't spoke, but can I get this guy? If you have anybody, I would love to have them fight. You know what I mean? No, you don't have anybody? Okay, I understand. I'll try to catch you on the next one. I got another fight. Because at the end of the day, all my real job is to provide opportunity.
Exactly.
That's all I can do. And because an adult has an issue with me for whatever reason, which 99% of them have never
given a legit reason.
No, not that. 99% of the people that have problems, they don't ever come to the source of the problem and say, hey man, you did this, you know what I mean? Or why did you do this? Or I heard that this happened. Could you explain why? You know what I mean? And then I explain. Now that doesn't mean that you have to agree with what I did or how I handled it, you know what I mean? But at least give me the opportunity to address the situation.
Yeah.
And Jason was saying these things, and then it got into this whole spiel about how Fresno should be one of the best markets in the country, and we should all be coming together. I'm like, yeah, man, and you're sitting here bashing me.
Yeah.
You're bashing my show instead of saying what a great job Valley Fight Series is doing, which is what you should have been discussing. You spent that amount of time to discredit something that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you wonder why we have the issues that we're having. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Part two to it is I never seen you at any shows. When's the last time you purchased a ticket to go to anything? You know what I mean? You're saying that we're a valley of people that should be supporting each other, but yet I don't see you there. I never seen you pay for a ticket at a show ever. I mean, could you let me know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand this. Like,
the reason probably
the first time I see them there.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, Like, and that's what the real problem is at.
Yeah.
You guys wonder why Tachi isn't doing fights right now. How many times have I told you? Yeah. The same thing. Because nobody wanted to buy a ticket. Yeah. Everybody wants something for free. You know? You wonder why such and such gym closed down. Well, their gym closed down because, you know what I mean, the fighters in the gym didn't want to pay for the coaches. You know what I mean? You wonder why MMA is in the state that it is in the Valley, and I'm continuously going to tell you that it is because no one supports each other with $1.
Yeah, everyone wants handouts.
Everyone wants to do it for free. Right. I'll get 900 texts on the day of a fight for a free ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll get 900 texts on the day of a fight for a free ticket, but I'll never get a, hey man, I bought 10 tickets online. Thanks for what you're doing. I really appreciate your supporting the Valley. You don't get those texts, you know?
A lot of it's probably because you've continuously stayed in business, and probably, you know, you're at 72 shows, so they're probably a little salty about that, you know.
But why? It's for their benefit.
I mean, if you see someone doing better than you, I mean, it's just like.
But it's not, bro. How many times have I posted on Facebook? If you have a suggestion,
I've seen
for something that I could do better,
for
something that I'm doing wrong, please message me, and I will try to, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Christian handed me the reins to something forever ago that I knew nothing about, and I've been catching heat about it ever since. Like, yeah, I'm the first one to say I don't know everything about this game. If you think you have a better idea than me, or you think that a strategy might work better, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. Like,
I think the biggest thing is that what people need to understand, everyone.
Need some more water, man.
Doesn't matter where your allegiances. Yeah, right. Doesn't matter where your allegiances might lie. You have to respect anyone who's willing to step in there and give fighters an opportunity to showcase their skill. And this is, you know, we have room in the Valley for everyone to be successful, and we have room for a lot of fighters to showcase their abilities. Because I remember a time when Lemoore was the MMA capital of the U.S. back during the WEC days when it was out at the Palace, and you know, we need to put the Valley back on the map. And whether that's through one organization or 10 organizations, people need to just put all of this bullshit aside and just get along.
Everyone should just be supporting each other. But that doesn't mean, people need to understand something. Everyone always talks about, oh, you should be co-promoting or working together. That's not what it's a figment of everyone's imagination. Yeah. Someone please explain to me the one time that they seen two promotions do something together that it worked.
Never.
It doesn't happen. Okay? It's okay for us to coexist and compete with each other and compete within a set of guidelines and fairness. You know what I mean? There's ways for that to happen. Now, when people choose not to do that, that's where you have all these misunderstandings, and you know, well, he said that if I go fight for your show, that I'm banned from his show. I've never said that to a fighter ever. Ever. I would just be cutting my nose off to spite my face. It's ridiculous. I would never do that. I have, however, told champions, if you go fight go fight on another show and you're my champion and you lose, you're no longer my champion. Yeah. That's fair. You know what I mean? Like, you're my champion, you're going somewhere else and you're losing. You know what I mean? Or I have told guys, oh yeah, you are the #1 contender. You know what I mean? But if you go fight somewhere else, it's someone else gonna jump ahead of you. You know what I mean? I got plans for my organization. I can't work around nobody else's schedule.
Yeah,
you know?
The whole co-promoted thing, it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you can't buy a Big Mac at Taco Bell. So it's like, you know,
I mean, Jordan texted me. Jordan Urbano texted me about Valley Fight Series in May. He told me originally he was going to do like May 2nd or 3rd, whatever it was, originally. He said, hey, this is the day we're going. I said, cool, I'm doing the 18th. I guess we're 2 weeks apart. You know what I mean? He called back and said, oh, hey, he texted me back and said, hey, the boxing match is on that day, so I'm going to move to a different show. Okay, cool. You didn't want to lose money doing it on the day of a boxing show, so you switched your event to a week before my event. So it affects me financially, right? So you're willing to trade your financial loss for my financial loss. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is, as promoters, there's never gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, I'm worried about 559 Fights. I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Worry about what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you go fight for them, great. He's not doing nothing but helping me. Yeah. I do 11, 12 shows a year. You know what I mean? He's bringing in new fighters to the Valley. You know what I mean? He's getting new guys licensed, and eventually some of those guys are gonna end up fighting for me, and vice versa. It doesn't. It's not. I have nothing bad to say about that whatsoever. I'm just doing what 559Fights is doing.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. But to say like, oh, you're trying to have a monopoly and you're not working with other promoters, like what? How does that work?
Yeah.
I don't understand what working with another promoter means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a promoter is going to do is he's going to do what he has to do to sustain his show and make sure that his otherwise, if that's not the case, Jordan would have said, you know what? Hey, I told you I was going to put the show on this date, a boxing match on date. I guess I'm going to take a hit because that's what I told you I was going to do, right? And that's not what happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, you want to read the text messages right here. You know what I mean? I'll just show you guys every text. You know what I mean? Like it's all right there in black and white. I didn't flip out on him. I said, okay, good luck to you, brother. I think at the time I thought Tachi was doing their show that week, Fight to Win. I said, hey man, so you know, Tachi and Fight to Win are that week also. You know what I mean? It's probably gonna be a pretty busy weekend as well.
Yeah.
But I just wish people, instead of going on podcasts and all this stuff, like I've texted Jason Von Flew before about getting guys on fight cards and stuff like that. No response. Not even a, hey man, don't text me no more. I'm not putting guys on your card because I don't respect you and I'm not interested in you're a dirtbag. Not even to that, you know. But I just got to hear it on a podcast. Also, I'm like, whoa, what is? I mean, he works out of Halo's gym. I mean, I've helped Halo fighters with that. If you call Angel right now and ask him, Angel, have you called Jeremy before about a fighter not having medicals and him paying for them? He'll tell you, I paid for the medicals for the fighter so that he was able to fight. I didn't go post about it. You know what I mean? I just did what I had to do.
Yeah, and that's
you know what I mean. Like the kids never fought for me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I invested in the kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't write a contract. You got to fight for me 6 times. I say, hey man, I would appreciate it if I'm helping you out. If you fought for me some more, you know what I mean? But he hasn't fought since. You know.
That's unfortunate. No.
Yeah, but again, it happens, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can only.
It just shows what kind of people they are, you know.
Yeah. I don't understand. I just didn't understand why you're at another show and you're worried about blasting me over. I don't know. Fighters getting food or something like that. I have no idea. I mean, do you stay in the Marriott when you come up to Bakersfield to fight for myself?
Nah.
But I mean, it's the same. Like my host hotels are the Marriott. Yeah. I'm not putting people in Motel 6s. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have when I started, but then I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like I had to figure it out. You know? You know, I had to figure it out. It took time.
Nice to meet you.
And if anyone has any special ideas and things that I'm not doing, again, my phone number is 559-813-0307. Call me anytime. I will help you guys.
Blow up.
I'll figure out ways to get better because I'm not the best yet. I still got a long way to go. Sorry for the rant, but that really.
Hey, no,
it just really bothers me. It just really
man.
bothers me. Like you can't sit there and say we have all, like Fresno could be this, and then rag on somebody, and then not understand that you're part of the problem. Then because you've never heard me talk about. Has anyone ever heard me talk bad about another promotion? No. No. I don't mention any names. Today, I don't mention nothing. Only things I ever complain about are things that go on with my show. The dealings I have with people on my show. That's it. Yeah. And that's all I focus on. My business. Not worried about what anybody else is doing. If they're a threat to me. The only other issues we've ever had is people paying people when they weren't supposed to. Yeah. And now those people are suspended.
How did that work?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, go figure. Yeah. You know? Like.
Yeah, that's true. We want to. Hey, there's a champ right there, a woman's champ, man. Maritza Sanchez. And what was your name, my friend? Jaime. They just joined us. So we're going to talk to them. Project has some more business, not here though, but somewhere else. But no, much respect to him, man, because You know, I agree 110% what he says. I run into that myself all the time. And I mean, it's just a gesture of who you are when you do it. I mean, my personal life, I really don't put on, you know, Facebook and all that. I have a personal chronic issue, but I don't publicize it because I know I have to take care of it.
Right.
And the same way, you know, and he's a lot like that as well. So, and I see that part. I think a lot of people do that to try to get qualified that they are doing something because there's an insecurity thing going on there. But I don't know.
I'm not trying to use, the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to use leverage to get anyone to compete for me.
Yeah.
The teams that are gonna, and the guys that are gonna want to compete for me are gonna compete for me. Whether I have 18 fights, I've done a show with 4 fights. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I just want to give opportunities. Whether people take those opportunities and fight for us or not, that's totally up to them. If you have a problem or an issue, or because you heard something, or you heard this, or you heard that, just come talk to me directly. Hey, did you do this? Why did you do this? What's the issue with this? I will address it and speak frankly and openly with you. I've had 100 conversations with Cody about guys on his team that weren't doing things the right way, guys on his team that were doing their things the right way. We have a good working relationship because I could just be honest and just say, hey, I don't like this, and he could apologize. Or you could say, you know what, screw you, we're gonna do this anyways. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. And it's great that like Antoine is a great buffer now. You know what I mean? He's doing such a good job as a matchmaker. I appreciate everything he's doing. He's a good buffer. He's talking to people now, because how many times have I said, like, I could be a disagreeable person. I don't come off to people as the happiest, nicest guy in the world. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with 1,000 problems at once. So it's great to have Antoine, because he can relate to the guys a little better and maybe soften the message a little bit, because I am kind of a straight, like, to the point, just shooter, like, hey, you know, that's just the way that it is, you know.
For the record, I ain't on that team anymore.
Nah, I just
We got our own stuff.
Yeah, but
we ain't on that team no more.
I mean, but Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna retrace our steps in time,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there was
we
times
haven't-
when you were fighting, even.
We haven't always seen eye to eye.
Yeah, there was
That's
times when you were
yeah.
fighting, even
Yeah.
where there was issues, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And what I'm saying is, as adults, you work through issues together. You know what I mean? I didn't throw the towel in on you when you messed up, right?
Yeah.
And if our organization ever made a mistake, you didn't throw the towel in on me,
Yeah.
right? We worked through our issues, you know.
Yeah,
And,
I've never. That's why I've said, like, even when I fought for 5-on-1 fights, it's always like been better, a little bit better every single time. You know, I mean, like I said, I was fighting for you guys when you guys first started, so it was, you know, it was like, whoa.
I mean, I did a show at the Tulare Fairgrounds outside, like,
the racetrack, right?
on the race, like, not even on the racetrack. It was on, like, the concrete in front.
Like by the
shit
grandstand.
Yeah,
outside.
and it was like, we first bought our small cage, and, like, the cage was built too high. They cut the poles too high. Didn't cut them short enough, and the cage was moving from side to
I
side.
remember that.
And oh my God, I was so embarrassed because the fighters' dressing rooms, they were in the middle of the track, and it was like there were like 2 little bungalows in the middle of the track, and the guys had to walk in the dirt, and I was just like, oh, I'm mortified. Like, yeah, man, it took a long time to figure out, you know, different strategies, different marketing schemes, different deals with hotels, like different deals with venues, so that I could, you know, bring things to the level that they are today. And sometimes we take a couple steps back. You know what I mean? The Rainbow Ballroom doesn't have the amenities that the Visalia Convention Center has. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it has different things that are better than the. I mean, you know, I wish I had a better locker room situation at the Rainbow Ballroom, right? You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. I
agree.
What I like about the Rainbow one, though, is there's like no bad seats. Like everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere was like
So
perfect.
fan
Like, it was
friendly.
like, yeah, it's like really fan friendly. It's just like right there, and like,
Yeah.
it was cool. I mean, it had like the little standing deck thing right there.
That's what you want, man.
Yeah, it
That's what you
was
want.
like there was no bad seats. Sure, the dressing rooms were a little dark.
Yeah.
But that's
And
my
everybody
own.
could see everything.
And everyone can see everything anyways, but it doesn't really matter. You're gonna
Yeah.
fight in 18 minutes, so
Yeah.
you know, you're not going to do anything in warm-ups that you haven't already prepared for your
Or at
fight.
least you shouldn't be.
Do normally.
I mean, I hate like when people are like, oh man, my opponent just watched me warm up. I'm freaking out. It's like, who gives a shit? Dude? I mean, you fought, you trained your ass off.
Well, I mean, come on. I did a show in Lemoore at the Rec Center one time, where the dressing rooms were like makeshift dressing rooms, and I had the curtain between them.
Yeah,
and then one opponent was cracking the pads a little bit too hard, and then the opponent kind of like skirted out the side door and was gone. And it's like, how do you explain that? I'm like, hey man, your opponent left, bro. Like,
dude left right after the rules meeting.
Yeah.
I'll blast him. His name's Everett Cummings. He's the #1 rated heavyweight in California, and he watched me kick pads with Trey. And he's all of a sudden he had the flu and his knee hurt, and his mom didn't show up like he wanted, and all this other bullshit, and he was gone.
I had that happen with one of my guys. He was fighting on a show. It was just before we took him pro, and the guy came. They weighed in, faced off. Everything was good. An hour to showtime. We're warming up. He's all wrapped up. We're like, hey, I don't see your opponent. We're waiting and waiting and waiting, and eventually we found out that he wasn't going to show up for whatever reason, and that's the worst. That
car
kind
trouble.
of car trouble. That's happened on the way to weigh-ins to us before. And in terms of like excuses, I mean, one of my guys has the worst luck in the entire world, and he goes through like 8 opponents every fight, and the excuses, they get worse and worse. I mean, it went from, oh well, my car's not working, to, oh well, my dad, he had to move out of state, to everything. It's like, that's great, you're helping your dad.
I've been doing this
move.
so long, I just stop offering excuses. I just say, hey, he's out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter at this point what the reason is. I can move on and find you someone else.
I heard the
That's all I
same
can do.
guy say the same excuse on Jeremy's show multiple times.
Yeah, for 3 different other shows.
I'm not gonna say.
I'm like,
what
dude,
his
your
name-
car's
I
a
think
piece
Jeremy
of
knows.
shit, dude. You need to get a new car,
I think
bro.
Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
I mean, it is what it is.
happens.
Promoting's tough. Being a fighter is tough. Being a coach is tough. We're all in tough situations. And
The sport is tough.
yeah. It's
It'll
just
make
a matter.
you or break you.
It is a matter of all of us just kind of working together and trying to understand the other person's perspective. But to say I'm not a fighters organization, absolutely ridiculous. I've done nothing but give to the community, give to the gyms, give to the fighters. I don't know more. I mean, I don't know what much more I could possibly do.
Get your pro license and throw some pro shows.
Yeah, I'm not trying to lose my house. But
yeah, you got to support them. Got to support them.
at the end, I try to tell people, man. And none of you guys are selling tickets like Casey Olsen and Isaac DeJesus. Man.
No, those days are gone.
I mean, Casey Olsen walk in with a backpack full of money because he sold 450 tickets. I'm like, yeah, you guys don't have no clue what it's like, A lot of these guys, big sales nowadays is like 30, 40, 50 tickets, and I'm like, cool, I appreciate it, man. It's like work. Like we're I'm promoting the event, I'm doing things on my end, you're selling a few tickets here and there, but no one's willing to do pro shows nowadays because no one's willing to risk their whole livelihood, because it's not enough, man. There's no way to make money. The state takes too big of a chunk of money from promoters, and it has less to do with promoters wanting to pay fighters, more to do with promoters not wanting to pay the state of California.
Yeah.
I say it 1,000 times.
And
I agree.
That's in like every industry
sure.
in the state. Everything has to do with California taking too much or doing too much, and it's everywhere. It's a big issue.
It's a matter of $15,000-$20,000.
Yeah.
It sucks for
And
a
then
lot of
on-
pros, though.
Yeah.
It does, because it leaves a lot of people out. Like what Cody Gibson was talking about. Like that would sound pretty cool if they would do that. Have all the amateur shows have pros as well.
Which is fine. I would do that.
That would be really cool.
It would be good if the cost was
efficient.
Yeah, if the cost was on par with doing that.
Yeah.
But it's not, And then you gotta remember too, a lot of these guys, I mean, your licensing and things like that to be licensed for a show runs upwards to $1,900 to $1,500 depending on what part of the state that you're in. You know what I mean? And so you're losing. It's a real investment for your future, right? Because as a fighter, you're losing.
Yeah.
You're losing a couple $100, $500, $600, $700 possibly on your first fight. No matter how many tickets you sell, you know what I mean.
Still, you're going to be a little bit of negatives.
It's a tough situation all the way around.
That's one of the things. Go ahead. You go ahead.
like I said, like I fought for Bellator, but they paid all my medicals, and I made $250 like after, you know, everything was said and done, you know, of all the stuff that they take. But, you know, you got to pay $50-something for your corner, or each corner, and you're supposed to have 3 of them and whatever. I'm like, dude, that's $150 that you guys just take from me, you know. And it's hard, man. You will go broke.
That's why I always tell a lot of the amateur guys, the up and comers, I'm like, you know what? Take this time to not only learn how to be a fighter and learn how the game goes, but set some money aside for your first couple of fights, because you're not going to make any money on your first couple of fights. Set it aside, start tucking away now, so that when you do your licensing, you do your medicals and everything, it doesn't hurt you so much in the heart when you see how much they're going to take out of your purse.
Yeah.
Because it hurts.
Yeah.
You're like, hell yeah.
I mean, it's all an investment into your career. You know what I mean? If being a fighter is what you really want to do, you know, people need to understand this too. To touch on what you just said, was that not only should you be taking this time to get cage experience, but you need to start taking this time to get out of cage experience on what it truly means to be a professional athlete, honoring your word, showing up on time and making weight.
Yes, professionalism is key.
Like doing a lot of these little things, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. Every single organization in the state of California, professional organization, will call me and say, "Oh, hey, so when Maritza fought for you, how many tickets did she sell? Did she show up to the weigh-ins on time? Did she do her medicals on time? Did she do it?" And then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, now my reputation's on the line. I gotta speak for this person, because if they go off and they don't do the right things, you know what I mean? Then they come back to me and it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to use one of your 559 fight people again because they didn't do this. You know, they'll call me and say, hey, who do you got for this show? You know what I mean? I'm ready. I got to open it and say, hey, you know who's ready to fight professionally? This person's ready to fight professionally. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's a guy that has 2 fights.
Right.
Sometimes a person is not ready to fight professional after 15 fights because they chose the entire time to not put themselves in uncomfortable situations and get any better. They chose, well, I'm a wrestler, so I'm just going to continue to wrestle every single fight and not get any better and things of that nature. I'm just going to win this way. It's not hard to wrestle someone for 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
True.
You
At the amateur level.
You shouldn't be able to look at a card on paper and circle who's going to win before it happens. And I think, you know, you should, when you're accepting a fight for yourself or for your fighters, you should have that mindset that every fight should have the potential of being the fight of the night. You want every fight to be evenly matched. You want it to be exciting. And a lot of the amateur fighters need to look at it as like, this is my resume for when I go pro. Whether it's, you know, wins, losses, or draws, but also, okay, I sold X amount of tickets, I showed up on time, I wasn't the one guy or the one gal that kept everyone sitting there hungry at weigh-ins because, oh, I'm on my way. Right. You know, it's professionalism. And
on Tapology now, on Tapology now, they have this pretty cool thing where it shows, like, canceled bout.
Right.
Right. So now, like, on the management side of things, when I'm looking at fights for my guys, you know what I mean, and I'm like, this dude has 8 canceled bouts. So it's like, I told a fighter yesterday, I said, hey, you may want, if you like this matchup, you know, I like it for you too. But realize the chances of this guy actually showing up to fight you are probably pretty slim. He's had 8 canceled bouts. Yeah. You know what I mean? So which means it tells me he's pulled out of 4 of them at least. You know what I mean? Like,
we don't know.
or all of them. Like,
you don't know whose fault it was.
Yeah.
I got 4 of them, and none of them have been for me.
So. But it's on there a lot, and promoters and managers are starting to look at that and be like, oh man, yeah, I'm not fighting that guy. You know what I mean? He's pulled up. I mean, he has 9 canceled bouts on there. You know, like sometimes it'll say on there like if a person was injured or what it was. You know what I mean? But it's tough, man. No showing to events, you know, or calling the week of, you know, it's hard. I don't know why so many injuries happen fight week. It's ridiculous.
People it's because, you know, we get calls all the time like, hey, can so-and-so come get some work in? It's like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, come get some work in. But, you know, when you're calling me 3 days before your guys' fight asking for some sparring, it's like, ooh, why are you sparring 3 days before your fight? You're a pull-out, a canceled bout waiting to happen. Yeah. It's scary. And I think some people do that. I think some people don't adjust their training to peak to pyramid and kind of peak down right before fight week. Do you maintain that cardio, but you're not doing anything to injure yourself? And again, learning experience.
You see it a lot. Like some of these coaches, they're not as serious with the amateurs as they are with the pros, because as a coach, you're doing it for the love of the sport at that point. You're not getting paid, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, you see a lot of non-attention to detail from coaches. It's not always the fighter's fault. I hold when a fighter does something wrong, I hold the coach as equally accountable as I hold the fighter.
Exactly.
Because I feel like, hey, your fighter came in 10 pounds over. That's on you as a coach. I mean, what were you doing for the last 2 weeks? Were you not monitoring his weight? Were you not teaching him how to cut weight? I mean, it's his first time fighting, And what were you doing as a coach to prevent this from happening? Oh, you weren't paying attention to him at all. I mean, then you're as equally responsible for his mistake as anyone else, So I mean, it
boils down to coaching as well. Yeah, that's true.
I think it's important for coaches and teams to really be on the ball, especially with the amateurs. It's important to stay involved. With my guys at my gym, one of the things that I like to do is I tell them, like, look, all right, we know what we have coming up. Your job is to train and to make weight and to fight. I will do as much as whatever I can to handle everything else if I can. And I think that's important, and there's a lot of other coaches that handle things that way too, and it's important. It makes your guys' jobs a lot easier too when you don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z, and okay, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to train. That's going to help me.
Yeah. So before I jam, because I'm already running late, aren't you? Over my time limit. But Jaime's coming in. He's fighting on our card coming up. Really excited to see him fight again. He's supposed to fight on our last card. Had some opponent issues. Try to tell guys all the time.
Trouble.
So I try to tell guys all the time, like, if you're fighting amateurs, you're most likely going to have opponent issues. Maybe 70% of the fights that you're going into. Us as promoters will do our best to continue to match you fairly as possible and stuff. But I'm really excited to have him back on the card. He has a pretty big following out of the Merced area. And then I let everyone know at the beginning of the show, Maritza was going to be one of the headliners for the June show. We're excited to have her, our champ, back. We're going to do an all-girls main event, co-main event for that show with titles with her and Kat, both having their titles online. So it's pretty exciting for us as an organization. We like to kind of have at least a couple of female fights every event. And so I'll let you guys talk to them, and I'm gonna head out and explore the world. I'm gonna go check on Jerry. That's something.
Appreciate the
It's
time.
nice seeing you,
Thank you guys.
Send him our best,
All right,
man.
take it easy,
Prayers
guys.
out to him.
Yeah.
Right next to it.
All right.
So you were
You can
supposed
move
to
over,
fight
Ritz.
on.
You can move over a little bit. Yeah.
You were supposed to fight on this card then,
Yeah.
coming up,
I was, yes.
and then
I was,
something happened.
Yeah, well, first my opponent pulled out, and so I was like, great.
Car trouble.
And, excuse me one second.
Oh, you're
That's
good.
all right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, so first my original opponent had pulled out, and so I was like, great, okay, so I guess I'm not fighting. And then he ended up getting me a different opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, great, so everything's on. I was like really excited, I was continuing on with my training. And then, just a few days ago, last week, I was sparring and I ended up kicking the guy's knee. So it was pretty bad, I got injured. Right now it's okay, it's getting better, but
Not
I still
100%
feel like,
yet,
not 100%, so I still need some more time. And, like he was just talking about, injuries and stuff, like why do they happen like week of, but
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do happen. I mean, sometimes they're freak
and
accidents.
it sucks.
It does,
really
because
does
it's an opportunity that you feel like, oh, what did I just do? But I mean, now you have a really big opportunity coming up to fight
June
Kat,
29th.
the
Or
29th, right?
Not
No,
Kat.
they'll fight the same night.
Same night,
Co-main
okay.
Same
main
night.
event.
They're
Both
both
girls will be defending the
Yeah,
title.
that's gonna be
Those of you who
exciting.
don't know Maritza, she's the 2018 Female Amateur Fighter of the Year MMA Fight Pass, and I'm honored to have her here tonight.
Thank you.
She's fun to
Yeah,
watch.
a lot of big things coming up for you. I know. You stay focused, man. Do your thing. I'm excited to watch you fight. I haven't had an opportunity. I've seen film, but not in person. And Jaime is you as well, man. So a lot of good things coming up. you guys just stay focused. Things are gonna happen. Sometimes for a good reason. Who knows?
Yeah, everything.
But take care of the opportunity and just do your thing and have fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. You guys have any questions for her?
No, I'm just excited for the fights next week. You know?
Yeah.
I'm excited to bring a belt back to my gym, honestly. So
Hang it up on the wall.
It's always a great
So
feeling.
Can you guarantee that?
I mean, I would put
Would
money
you
on
put
it.
would you endorse that?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm confident enough in I'll put every amount of money I got on it. So
Good deal. That's the right thing to say. You better.
I think anybody in our gym, I mean, anyone who's trained with him, you know, would
Oh yeah.
would tell you that it's his not only his skill set but his attitude is just really hard to match.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you know, when he's, you know, getting beat in practice, he'll be like, okay, I gotta train harder. Like, what can I do to not get beat again? Like, he'll come up to me like, hey, what can I do not to let that happen again? You know, and most fighters will get mad, throw their gloves off, and, you know, whatever. Damn, I'm losing every single round of sparring. You know, Vince is like, okay, I lost a round of sparring. What am I gonna do this next round to win?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's his attitude is just where it's at. He believes in himself. He believes in me and Trey as coaches. I mean, he believes in his other, you know, his jiu-jitsu coach, and in, you know, he believes that he's the best. And
That's good.
I'm sure he's
Should
gonna
be good
show it, you
attitude
know.
like that too. So, Jaime, do you have an opponent already for you, or?
Dude,
Okay. What do you know about him? I mean,
I don't know nothing about him. I don't care about him.
all right.
That's it.
Let's go out there and do your thing.
I'm just gonna go out there and do me, you know?
Right on.
I honestly forgot his last name. I just know his name's David. But it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Go out there and
Just gonna go out there and just do me, and that's it. I'm going out there for me, not to go out there and, oh, him, me, nah. I'm doing it for me. I don't care.
That's a good attitude to have. That's a good attitude. Have you had any research on the girl you're going to be fighting?
Well,
Had a
yes.
chance to check
name
her
is
out,
Megan.
so-
Yeah, she just fought the last card, I
last
think,
one.
for the
The
title.
last Rainbow Ballroom.
Cat, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get this. Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be a good fight.
That's going to be a good
It'll be a
fight.
good
I'm
fight,
excited.
yeah.
I see
She's
that
a tough
she
girl,
likes
she's
to
a
stand up.
tough
I like
girl,
to stand
yeah.
up, so it's going to be a war.
Yeah, that's going to be
Bang,
nice,
bang.
man.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, it
I'm excited
is,
to see
man.
that.
I still think you should get submission of the year or some shit for that flying armbar.
Against the armbar queen.
Yeah, like
Against
The 2019.
Hey,
Hey,
she's already gearing up, man.
You can't
She's
forget
already
about the
gearing
finish
up.
off her back from the triangle.
For
bro.
URCC, I
You know,
remember
you
that
can't
too.
forget that, bro. That's a good finish
Yeah.
too. She's crazy, bro. She got
Thank
some
you.
good ass finishes. Okay.
I
I'm a scrappy
always,
fighter.
I'll
I just like to scrap.
Hell
I like
yeah.
to watch you fight. Like, I'm like, hold up, we gotta stay. Like, all right.
And that's important to be well-rounded like that because
Oh, yeah.
it's far too often, especially nowadays, fighters seem to be real pigeonholed. Like, oh, I'm a striker. Oh, I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. It's good to be well-rounded because it makes the fans excited. It makes the promoters excited.
Yeah.
Totally.
It makes you more marketable.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you know, you are your own market. You have to be able to
Right.
market yourself in this game. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when people come to our gym and say, "Oh, I'm a wrestler" or "I'm a striker," I like to box. I'm like, cool. Well, go to a boxing gym and go over there, or go to a wrestling school and try to go to the Olympics. You're probably not gonna make it, but good luck. And like, you know, why fight if all you want to do is lay on top of someone and hold them down, or why why cry like a little bitch every time you get taken down, or why.
I like striking. I love
I
striking.
mean,
If somebody wants to
everyone has
wrestle-
their favorite, but don't be ignorant to
Right.
like not
if
like
somebody
you
wants to
said.
wrestle, I'll
Don't
fuck them
pigeonhole
up
or
there, too.
typecast
That's
yourself.
Exactly,
no
yeah.
Because
problem.
you will always be that role. If you pigeonhole and typecast yourself as a jiu-jitsu person, you're gonna forever be expected to finish every fight with an amazing submission. But when you're well-rounded, they'll be like, oh wow, she can knock him out, or oh, she did a flying armbar, and that creates more buzz about yourself and about what you're doing. It's important.
At the end of the day, it's a fight. Anything can happen. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're fucking wrestling background, jiu-jitsu, striking. That don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything can fucking happen. It's a fight.
That's
how
why
it
I
is.
like this as a
That's
sport because it just you really
That's
don't
true.
you really don't know what's the best. Like forever
Prepare
and
for
ever.
everything,
What is
you
it?
know?
25 years now. They started this because they wanted to figure out what's the best. But look at it really now. What is the best? There isn't
Everything.
One, there
A
isn't,
good
there
mixture
isn't
of
one
everything.
thing that's the best. There's not. At the time, it was jiu-jitsu just dominating everybody, but now you see guys that are so good at jiu-jitsu that can't even do anything off their back, and MMA fight because they keep getting punched.
Right. You know, Tosh Cook is one of our coaches at our gym with jiu-jitsu for Hoist Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and one of the things that I love that he does is he'll come in and he'll say shh. He puts the gloves on. He's like, I'm gonna go punch people in the face, and I love that because he always says, you know, the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world is nothing if you can't defend against those strikes, or you can't do something with those strikes. And it's important, you know, the famous Mike Tyson saying everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's so true, especially with MMA. You know, I mean, the most recent fight, Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade, was supposed to be an excellent fight. I was really looking forward to it, and I don't think anyone could have predicted what could have happened.
You think she tapped?
You know,
I saw she did.
I saw a tap.
You did.
I saw
It
a
could
tap.
have been just like, like letting them know, like, this is illegal. Because it would have been an illegal slam if she was not holding that
Right.
move, you know? Like they say in the dressing room, you're not allowed to spike your opponent, but if your opponent has you in a submission and you're going to spike them, they have the opportunity to let go.
Right.
And so I don't mean it. There's people on, you know, other podcasts and everything else saying, oh, well, she might have been, you know, telling them, you know, hey, there's a submission here, or
Possibility you don't
this,
know.
you know.
All I saw her hand moving like this.
I mean,
I don't know
definitely
if
it was
a tap
like
or-
this, you know, or
Yeah.
you don't know.
But either way, though, I mean, that Rose should have given up that submission if she was concerned about being slammed. I mean, Jessica's a beast, and she's incredibly strong.
Of course.
Yeah, if she slams
can
you-
see too, like physically, like
Yeah.
Rose is just so small. Like
But-
Jessica's like this.
Until
animal.
that point,
You
she was
gotta-
getting her ass kicked.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was on losing.
It was not it was very one-sided up until that point.
Yeah.
But
That's all it takes.
And that's why
Yeah.
it's important to be well-rounded. You
Anything
know,
can happen.
anything can
No matter
happen.
if you're
Prepare for
wrestling.
everything.
Yeah, like that's I typically, I mean, everybody knows me. I like to bite down on my mouthpiece, and I will say, my balls are this big. How big are yours? And I will swing with you all day long.
I sparred with him before a little bit. You know, he does.
And I will, if that's the kind of fighter you want to be, I'll do it. That's fine. But I just got good at defending takedowns. I don't like to be taken down. No one likes to get taken down. So I just solemnly, I had, you know, Cal State wrestlers from CSUB. I have my buddy Jack Murphy that's at York College right now. He's like really good. Take me down 100 times this practice. Do it. Take me down 100 times. Because if I can defend 3 of them, I'll finish you. You know. I mean, it's just you can't be.
That's what I do.
You can't. Yeah, exactly.
When I spar, I say, hey, take me down as many times as you can.
You can't be
and
ignorant
just-
to learn.
That's
new
what
things.
everybody's gonna want to do with me. Watch any of my fights and see me shoot. You rarely see me shoot. I'm always striking, so everybody's gonna be like, all right, he's a striker. I'm gonna wrestle him. I'm gonna wrestle him.
Honestly,
Every time I
That's
fight,
it.
I'm gonna get.
I mean,
someone's gonna wrestle.
if it goes to the ground, it's because they're, you know, shooting.
Yeah,
for
they're
me.
trying to shoot.
I don't give a fuck about shooting. I'm gonna be honest.
Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
Watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm there to fight. Like,
Well-
if you shoot on me, we're gonna go to the ground.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight or whatever, but I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna shoot on you faggot ones. You know what I mean? Like, if he's watching,
There you
if coach is
go.
watching, I don't care. I'm gonna go fight. That's it.
That's
you know,
it.
if we go to the ground, we go to the ground. But just be ready for anything. You know?
That's
I
true.
don't give a fuck.
I mean, I've had that game plan before, and then my opponent told me that wrestling's for pussies, and my bitch ass wrestling would never work. And he got high crotched and then suplex one right after the other. So I mean, I will take people down. You know, I'm not. You know, I do know it. But yeah, I mean, you gotta know it all. It's called mixed martial arts for a reason.
Exactly.
You know?
You got to be well-rounded, especially if you intend to go pro. It's so many times you see at the amateur level, they're super talented in one facet, but they're very much lacking in another. And I think, and I've seen both of you guys fight. You guys seem both pretty well-rounded, and I think that's important, especially trying to challenge for a championship belt. Because what embodies a champion? Someone who's bested someone and shut down every aspect of their game. That's super
true.
important.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared, you know, for everything. Like, not saying, oh, I'm not prepared, you know. I'm still working takedowns. I'm still working everything. It doesn't mean, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
and
I
if you-
choose what I pull out of my arsenal at the end of
Exactly, and that's what
Yeah.
makes you a better fighter, the fact that you can choose. If you say, yeah, all right, I'm going to keep this fight standing, and you keep it standing,
Yeah.
that means you dictated
Especially
the
if
pace.
you're controlling the fight and, you know, you're in there with him and filling him out and you feel like, okay, I'm going to play with this guy. You know, kind of like my first fight. You know what I mean? Like, it is,
Yeah.
you know, that's how it goes. If you know, okay, I got it this way, I don't need to shoot or I don't need to rush in and be over aggressive, although I can, or I could have finished the fight in the first round. you know.
Right.
But it's just you want to have some fun. You want to do a little extra stuff. Hey,
work on some things that you've been working on.
Say, dude,
Yeah.
It's your fight. You're in there.
It should be that way.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
should be that way.
You
Yeah.
should do whatever the fuck you want to do at the end of the day. You're the one that's in there.
I like
if you want
that.
to dance, if you want to fucking
It is.
laugh, if you want to do the worm in that bitch, do it. You know what I'm saying? It's your fight.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
in the case
That's
of
true.
one of my fighters, his first fight, he was so excited, and he's a Fortnite guy. And I know, Money, you're watching, and you're gonna kill me for saying this. Between rounds, he actually started flossing because one of our youth students was in the crowd and was like saying, "Money, do the floss, do the floss." So he started flossing mid-round, and I put it in the highlight reel for our team for the year. And he was like, "Oh, I'll take that out." He's like, "Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore." He's gonna kill me for saying that.
Call me your
No.
name on Fortnite.
I thought he was really flossing his teeth. I didn't know.
No, no.
Until you did this.
No, he was doing. I can't do it.
I don't know what the
I'm
hell
too
that
Asian
is.
to dance. I can't do it. I don't have any rhythm. But you know, it's you gotta have fun out there. That's
Exactly.
the thing.
That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, my debut was March 16th. I was just, as soon as I stepped in there, you know, I was just having fun. To be honest, like my mind was just somewhere else. You know, like people criticize and talk and say this and say that. I don't care what you got to say.
You're in
know
the
what I'm
age of
saying?
keyboard
Like,
warriors, though. They're
is
gonna
what it
say
is.
they're gonna say what they're gonna say
everyone's gonna
behind
say
the
what they're gonna
computer.
say.
Everyone's gonna
Yeah.
always say something.
You know,
But I mean, every fight, like me and I'm sure other fighters are progressing and getting better, you know, and correcting anything they, you know, got to
Yeah.
correct. Like I know myself after my first fight, I knew I had some stuff to correct. You know, I wasn't perfect at all, nowhere close to it, you know. But yeah, so on to the next. You know?
And it's important to have that attitude, and you know they say if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, and that's kind of the goal with fighting. You know, it's this passion that if hopefully maybe someday you can turn into a career, and that's what I love to see when you see people hitting that switch and they turn it on when they need to turn it on. They know what they need to do, and they pour it on when they need to pour it on. And you go back to the drawing board, and you know I know that my guys, they just fought this past weekend, and they were bugging me all weekend. Do you have the tape yet? Do you have the tape yet? Do you have the tape yet? Because they want to sit there and they want to study it. I mean, they all won. They all did fantastic. They dominated. But I mean, they're trying to perfect their craft, so they want to look at it and watch it.
It takes so long to figure that out too. Like, shoot, I have over 20 fights, pro and amateur, boxing, kickboxing, everything. So, and I didn't shoot until my last like 5 fights. I didn't start really feeling like comfortable, like I'm in there like slow, like it's just like practice. Before it was just everything would go so fast, you know.
Right.
If I just wasn't so calm, I would throw things that I don't normally throw, you know. Now it's so easy to slow things down, and I see the people across from me rushing for a finish. Like, it's not like they want to finish so bad so early because they want out of it. They're so scared. Like, I'm tough, so it's gonna take a while, man. I like to marinate my steak, so we're gonna be in here for
like
a while.
that.
It makes me nervous, man.
And it's important too, you know, that like I was telling one of my fighters, he was upset that he didn't get a finish. He got a decision win. I said, you know, that's better for you. That's more ring time that you got in there.
Exactly.
More experience that you got that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
It's always thinking about the positive, you know.
Yeah, it's beneficial too. It's like, you know, yeah, you won, and yes, it was unanimous, and yes, you did very well and you dominated, but you got more time in than you would have. That now when he's begging me for the footage, you can study and can now see, okay,
Where
next
you can
time
get the
This is
Right.
why you didn't finish. is
Exactly.
this.
And you learn from it.
Sometimes rushing the finish, you know, you don't get. A lot of times I tell people that though, if you're trying to finish this guy and it ends up going to the decision, you're probably, unless you're smashing, unless the whole time everything's landing and the guy's just real tough, you're probably still gonna win that fight.
And if you had a gas tank like no other.
Yeah, but not very many people have gas tanks like that. If you just slow things down, finishes will come. Most of the time, people are trying to finish things in the first. They're not going to have the gas tank for that in the third, or
Yeah,
even
see,
mid-second.
I mean, you gotta think though. This is, 2 or 3 minute rounds.
Right,
I mean,
not in amateur.
they
it's
kinda
minutes.
do have to
Yeah,
rush,
In
you know, they
amateur,
kinda
yeah,
do
they
have
do
to
have to rush to score and score and score. I think once you get to the pro level, you see that early too. If guys that are making their pro debuts, you see them trying to go for finishes early, and then all of a sudden, 2 minutes left.
I think a lot of it's the adrenaline. I mean, what happens in the
That happened
fights,
to me.
everybody fights at a panic, not at a pace.
Yeah.
And that they make that mistake and like, shit, damn,
That's
this
when
guy was
mistakes
awesome.
happen.
He turns pro and then
Well, I mean,
it's different.
I'm not going to name bash anybody because I'm not about that, but me and him were watching that Combate America card, and it was a dude's it was his first time doing 5-minute rounds, and right at 3-minute mark, Trey goes, "Watch this," and he goes,
Don't.
Starts sucking air.
boom, and then got knocked out.
You can
He
tell.
literally, at 3 minutes, he dropped his hands just like this,
And
he
they
just
know
got,
it. They look up at the clock. They
He
see,
got
and they're like,
wrecked,
"Oh my God, I have this much more time."
Psychology.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
psychology.
long.
What it is it's bad coaching and poor preparation. You know, I mean, a lot of people's coaches, they think their way is so right, that they don't want to learn. I mean, as a coach, you have to be able to learn too. Like, I mean, that's why I still compete. I have a fight coming up June 9th. You know, I mean, I could just kick back and just make money off of coaching and do whatever. You know,
But
I
as a
mean,
coach, you gotta know because.
Well, you're going in there learning too.
I mean, it's always evolving, you know. I mean, like that's why I've never taken here's a spoon-fed fight, dude. Hell no. My last opponent that I lost to just signed with the UFC. My next opponent June 9th has fought in the UFC like before I was born.
And has a sex tape.
And I'm gonna knock his ass out, you know, just as if he was his first fight.
Like
So,
with him, I'm working with his striking, and I can't give him the same pace as me. I
No.
can't teach him the same way I'm teaching Vincent his striking, because both guys are lower weights, way different weights. You know, way different weights, and the pace at those weights are so much different. You got to get these guys' cardio so much higher at this weight, and then at this weight you have to keep their cardio, or you have to keep their power late. You know what I mean? They still have to have their power throughout the whole time.
I got 8 or 10 more minutes of fighting.
Yeah, it's
You know,
totally
they got a
different.
long
It's totally
work, you
different
know.
working with lighters and with lighter guys and bigger guys. You have to have a pretty good
And
coach.
yeah.
to know
Yeah.
that.
I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people, like myself included, whenever there's a female fight on the card, you know it's going to be exciting, because typically the ladies don't tend to gas as easily. They just have a higher. We just have a higher pace of when we do things.
Yeah, you know what? That's
I
not
don't know
that,
how it
this
is.
is what I
but-
always say too. That's not the case. Everybody gets tired at the same amount of time, but it's your guys' mind. You guys push yourselves through that tiredness. You guys have babies. I couldn't do that. There's no way. You know, like they just push themselves through that hard point in time. You know,
Yeah.
Some people it takes a long time to even get that in your mind. Like me, I think about being tired later. That's what I always think about it. Like, look, I got 15. Me as a pro, I'm a pro. 15 minutes. That's all I got. What's 15 minutes out of your 24-hour day? Nothing really. So that's all the time I got to get. All right,
To
we
make
gonna
$2,500?
work for 15 minutes.
It's better than any hourly job right there.
I look at it like I don't have enough time. That's where people look at it like, oh, that's so long I have to fight. I better get it done quick. I don't have enough time.
Trey told me to find them a fight where they still do pride rules, a 9-minute round.
10
and then
minutes. Yeah, I want that round.
They don't want to exist anymore, dude.
He'll quit.
Trey will
I'll
go
make
for
him quit.
hours and hours.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, I love it.
there's
Gassing
a
is
point.
the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
They say that's why the Diaz brothers don't get knocked out, just because they're gassing.
Cardio.
I mean, our gym is huge on cardio. I mean, you can ask anybody that's trained with us.
I think that's key.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
there.
that's
You know,
how they
that's
do.
key.
Like, we
you know,
put-
your
we feed
ability.
each other
You're
through
always
it.
trained, but cardio.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
And
That's us as
fight.
well, you know.
you have
Anybody can
to.
throw punches.
Yeah.
be a
Anybody can
badass
fight.
fighter, but if you don't have no air,
That's
yeah,
us as
you're
well.
dead.
You know, I always tell the guys, I'm like, there's a reason why we do everything that we do. There's a method for all the madness, and they know that, and it proves fruitful when we have other gyms come in and we get work in with sparring, or we have a guest come in, or this elite athlete comes in, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes in, they're throwing up or they're done. It's like, you know, we can do 12 more rounds at this pace. We can do 20 more rounds at this pace. We can just go until we decide, you know, I'm hungry, I want to go home, go eat. And that's important. And I think that the biggest hurdle is that people need to understand with the amateur fights, you got 6 minutes. No one should be that gassed in 6 minutes that you can't.
As hard as they train and say they train,
Right,
and the work
it's
they put
6
in.
minutes.
Or 9 if it's.
Or 9, you know. That's different though. Title fights are different.
Show how hard you've been working, you know, in every aspect.
Another thing I do say is fight cardio is way different than in the gym.
Yes.
Because adrenaline, you know, I mean, my first fight, it only lasted 12 seconds, but I threw up for like 3 hours after.
I always throw up.
My very
after
first
fights.
fight was 12 seconds long for 559 fights, and I trained more than anything in the world. I would hit pads like as hard as I could for the 2-minute round, whatever. and I literally just went all out for 12 seconds of the adrenaline dump. I was sick. I didn't even party. I couldn't do anything. I was like, no, man, I'm going to bed. Like I'm going to go to sleep.
I do that every time I fight.
And another thing is, like we tell people that I'm not going to teach people like stuff that I don't know that works. Like if I'm like, I don't know, man, I've never tried it. I'm not going to show a fighter something that I've lost by. I'll tell them that, you know? Or like I've lost too. Like I'll show them like how I've lost, you know, to not make the same mistake, as in, you know, don't exchange punches with a drunk Indian.
I wasn't gonna say that, but that's one of the classic.
To this day, I still want a rematch with that guy. My game plan was to take him down and leg lock him, honestly. And I said, no, man. He called me a bitch, Trey. I gotta knock him out. He's like, dude, you're sick. Take him down and win. And I was like, no, I'm knocking him out.
Sit back and take a breather.
And I just like,
I thought someone shot you.
Dude, that was the first time I've ever been knocked out in anything.
Snipered him from the
I thought I was watching a modern day Kennedy assassination.
Dang.
It was
You
whack.
got you, bro. That's cold-blooded right there.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
No, it was a good fight.
We learned a lot from
Definitely a
that
good
one.
fight. I didn't see it happening that way.
Yeah, me neither. Trust me.
With all your flying wheel kicks, doing everything you were,
I
was
just
thinking
don't know
it was.
how he didn't get knocked out. Dude. He was on some other shit.
Chris
man.
Farley in there with Kung Fu Ninja or whatever.
Yeah, he was on some other shit. Head kicked him twice. I was like, no one survives the second one, dude. Like ever. Like no one. That was wild.
This guy threw that tomahawk blast and boom, you're done.
God.
I watched the video like not too long ago, and he had his eyes closed, and it was just the most panic punch ever. And he hit me right there. Boop. And I was like, oh.
Anything can happen as soon as that cage door closes, and that's
Usually-
what's awesome about our sport.
Yeah, usually I'm that guy who will take like punches and be like, come on, dude, let's go. That's it? All right, come on. And then I'll start fighting. And that one was just, I was exhausted. And I mean, it was a 3-minute round, and by a minute or 2 minutes and 40 seconds, my hands were right here and I was punching. And with like 9 seconds to go, he just like, boop, just caught me. And I don't know.
Did you guys get fight of the night?
Yeah, we got fight of the night, and it only lasted 1 round.
Yeah, that was
Like,
crazy. You guys
Yeah,
had
it
it
was-
all.
My
Those are the
last
best
fight, I let the
fights.
guy punch me until he got tired.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
slapped
crazy.
him. But it was cool. I was just walking down Mexican boxer style, just big taking shots. You were there. Taking shots.
Yeah,
And
we
then
were stressed out. I
finally
was like,
threw
Trey,
back.
can you block with your hands
I
and
was
not
like,
your
yeah,
face?
hold on.
He goes, wait.
Hold
Like
on.
that, and then just keeps fighting
And
again.
then I see him do this. And I'm like, I got you now. I got you. That was fun though. And sometimes you gotta pull out that toughness out your back pocket. It's not always good. That's what Israel Adesanya's last fight. He's like, you know, sometimes you gotta show people you got that.
That heart.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it too. You know, you can prepare and you can teach and you can learn and you can coach, but the one thing that you can't alter, teach, learn, or coach is heart. You got to be born with it. You have to be able to triumph when others falter, and that's the most important thing. And I think the great thing about amateur MMA is that it gives you a chance to do that as you're still learning and still coming up. So when you do make that pro debut, you do go pro, you know what you're made of, and that's important to go in there, because no one likes that first fight. You don't know what's going to happen. You're freaking out. You're like, oh man, anything can happen. But you don't want to repeat that process when you go pro. That's why you want to be battle tested. You want to have that cage time. You want to have as many championship rounds, as many different opponents as possible.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you guys you
At
two
an
are
amateur
taking yours
level.
real seriously for your upcoming fight, and that's good to hear. I love hearing that at the
At
amateur
an
level.
amateur level, you can't, you know, oh, this guy he's 3-0 and he's 6'3", and this guy is, you know, he's been fighting for 4 years and I've been fighting for 2 years. It's amateur, so at the end of the day, I mean, you're gonna be 0-0 once you go pro.
Yeah,
So
the
none of
quicker
that
you get
shit's gonna matter.
experience in,
I mean,
the better,
you're
the more
gonna.
ready
I mean,
for pro.
if you don't grow hard out of it, you're gonna get some balls out of it, you know, or lady balls or whatever you want to say, you know, some, you know. But a lot of, you know, it's you can't coach heart and you can't coach mental toughness. You know, you can't.
And there's a part of it too. That's real important, and it's your fight IQ. And it's you can see before it even steps in the ring or steps in the cage how someone's fight IQ is going, because when you talk to them beforehand, oh, I got this. This is nothing. That's how you know it's like, oh, you're not there. Mm-hmm. You're not there. It's just like if you go to school, you take a test. You know, someone says, oh, I got this. those are the ones that never pass. It's the same thing. You can always tell when you say, you know what, I know that I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to focus on that. But you can see that fight IQ developing before you hop in the cage. And when you do get in the cage, and when you see people make adjustments on the fly, when they know that something that they're doing is not working, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it's really important to see fighters making those adjustments. And fight IQ is huge. I think that's part of the mental toughness thing too, because you have to understand that you may not be able to see everything, and you may not be able to make those adjustments in the cage like you might want. Those are things that you might have to take home. It's your homework afterwards, and everyone has homework after a fight. Everyone has something that they did differently, they want to do differently, or they're going to change or make adjustments to.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of difficult doing that in the cage too, but I've done it a couple times. But it's fun.
You have to. The amateur level gives you that experience doing that. I think you can watch any fight and you can look at the winner or the loser and you can see an adjustment that they've made. You're like, oh, now they know that overhand's landing every time. They're going to start throwing that overhand.
That's good that you know you can do that.
Right, it's important.
Yeah,
it's important.
You got to think at some point you're going to have a bad day, and his striking could be better than yours on that day. So you're going to have to use some wrestling, or you're going to have to, pull guard. I never said that. No, I'm just kidding. I've never said but yeah. We're about
Well, we're going to wind it down. I want to go ahead and start here with Maritza. Shout out to people, for your support, and wanted to take care of you, give you an opportunity.
Yeah, I'd like to thank I've been working with my head coach, Abraham. He's been a great coach. I've been with him. I started training with him in his garage. So, I only see myself going up there with him, and I really want to give him a big, huge shout out. Thank you, Coach Abraham. He's also my brother-in-law. Thank you, Felipe Brasio. He's my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. Really awesome, always been there for me, kind of like a father figure. And yeah, Fabio Bateta too, thank you. Always helping me, letting me, welcoming me into his gym. Always says, hey, come in, cross train with us. And he's a really humble guy. And thank you, Andre, as well. So yeah. And also I want to say thank you to my family and my friends for being very supportive.
Can't forget them. You'd be in real trouble.
Oh yeah.
I love you, my mom.
Definitely.
I love you, mom.
All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, on Vince's behalf, he would like to throw a shout out to Bakersfield Sports Nutrition. Thank you guys for helping him and getting him through his workouts and getting him all the right supplements that he needs. On my behalf, I'd like to thank, obviously, my friends, family, especially my wife. She makes it a little bit easier on our team. She's a big help. Thank you, Locomotive Clothing. We just did a collaboration with them, and we just got all new team shirts, team shorts, stuff like that.
Good deal.
And thank you, Evolution Fitness, Flawless Victory, and 559Fights for giving us, these local opportunities, so we don't have to drive 9 hours to fight sometimes.
Right on.
So, and I also like to thank my right hand man right here, Trey. This is my road dog right here. So that's all I got to say on my end. So.
All right, Jaime, you take it.
I'd just like to thank my coaches, the guys I've been working with right now. They know who they are. I'd like to thank my family and everyone who goes and supports. Thank you to Jeremy and 559Fights, like he said, for giving us the opportunity to have everyone make it to the fight as being local. Other than that, that's all I gotta say. I'm young, I'm up and coming, and you'll see more of me on this and in the cage, and that's it.
Good deal. All right, we want to make a big shout out to the people that take care of us, Spike and Rail, Barbecue's house here. Keep us pardon?
I'm about to get some.
Get some? All right. Just mention you'll knock off 15% off your bill. Mention the MMA Fight Pass.
Does that include alcohol too? No, I'm just.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe. If it's proper 12, I think.
Domestic, nothing imported, bro.
But, and Visalia MMA out there in Visalia for all your combat sports needs. Glepler Digital that keeps us online. Own a car in Fresno, the home of the $500 down payment. And if you purchase a car and mention MMA Fight Pass, they'll give you a free tank of gas. And nowadays, that's money.
That's nice.
That's the money.
That's
incentive right there.
It's expensive. And hey, man, I think we got a keeper here, man. Bailey Silveira, my left hand.
There we go.
It's an honor, man. It's a pleasure. I think this thing is going to go farther than what we ever envisioned.
I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about a passion of mine, something I've been involved with since I was, yay big. I appreciate it very much. I never shut up at home. So I'm sure my husband will enjoy that I get to come here and talk to someone else for a little while. He's laughing over there. But I really do appreciate it. I think it's a great thing that you're doing to bring, awareness to the Valley and the local talent in the Valley. Because if it weren't for these guys, none of us would have anything fun to do on a Saturday night. None of us would have. It's the Valley. There's already nothing to do. So when there's fights, that's awesome. And it's good because you're giving them a platform to promote themselves, which is going to help them, which in turn helps us. So thank you guys for doing what you do. And I look forward to seeing you guys at your next fight, getting the belt,
Yes,
keeping
thank
the
you for
belt,
having
getting the
us.
belt, keeping the belt, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I got to shout out the Valley Fight Club. That's her spot. And any of you out-of-towners, or give her a call. And I'm sure there's opportunities out there to put in a workout session at this place. And if you've never been there, just because you pass by it, you have no idea until you go inside.
You got to go inside. We got a big facility. We have the dojo area. We have a cage. We have a ring. We have a bag room. And most importantly, we have a love for the sport. And if anyone wants to get work in, they're in town, they're going to be fighting, just give us a ring. Let us know. We'll work you in, and we'll work you hard. But you'll be better for it, and we'll be better for it too.
All right, that's a wrap from MMAFightPass. Thank you. All right, man.
Oh, I can take a piss now.
Good show. I wonder why your ears are all red. I was like, what the hell? You're floating, teeth are floating.
That's because I'm hungry. Honestly.
He's not.
Now I'm gonna feel this heavyweight shit right here.
Brink, you're gonna fight a porn star. You're gonna get
You know what I'm gonna
spooned,
tell him,
man.
right? At weigh-ins, I already
He
told him. I said
spoons
that
you.
big old dick ain't gonna help you. Dude. I'm sorry, it's not.
Are you really fighting a porn star?
He
He
is.
used to be a
Aaron
porn
Brink,
star. Like,
man. Look
I
at
guess
him
he was
up.
like hurting for money, and like he's like started doing like adult films. Like,
And he's getting about you.
I hope he has like the best ring name ever, though. He's got to have the best ring name ever if he was a porn star.
The Beaner. And he's
Oh.
white. I don't get it.
That's not-
How do you say Beaner in Spanish?
I don't know. You just say nothing.
No.